Konnichiwa. It's time for another appreciation night, not appropriation. We're going Japanese. A little sake here. I've talked about Vince before. I don't care if you went to Nobu, Yama. I don't care if you were in Tokyo. He asked for a wine glass for his sake. I got the hat on because tonight is Thursday. It's the 5th of January. And I swam for the first time in maybe 6 or 7 years tonight. Joined the Y. I haven't swum since before COVID. Swam, I don't know. I haven't swimmed since before COVID. The pool was closed because they had a crack in it. That's what originally got me to stop. And then in recent years, past 2 years or so, I wouldn't go because of Beatrice. Because I have to get up early. I was leaving an hour early in the morning. When she was young and spry, it was no big deal. She could tear all over the house. But and when she got older, I didn't want to leave. So tomorrow, she's gone 2 weeks. Still dealing with it. But one of the things that can pull you out of that kind of stuff is some good exercise. And the only thing I ever loved was swimming. So, and by the way, haven't had a drop since last Sunday. It's now Thursday night. I don't sit here and pound every night. Some people, because I'm doing the show, they also say, how come you're not 300 pounds? I decide on a recipe, I cook it. You know, I'm not going to show you the salads I have 4 days a week for lunch or whatever. Actually, maybe I should. But I got the hat on because of that. I went swimming this morning and I forgot to bring my comb to the Y. So no need for, chlorine head on camera. So tonight we're doing a Japanese inspired thing. And back to the cultural appropriation stuff. When I do these meals, Mexican, Chinese, whatever, I think we did falafel last week, it's inspired, okay? I'm not a chef. I don't try to do the accurate thing. If I want good Japanese food, I'll go to Makio. I'll go to Kyoto, Yasuda. I'll go to Hokkaido and Newport. There's no shortage of great Japanese restaurants around here. But what I try to do is if I just want to experience those flavors at home of something I like, I give it a shot. Is it going to be right on authentic? No. Is it going to be tasty? Yes. So let's get to it. I got my dashi on the stove. I'm going to have a little miso soup to start. We did that in episode 103, Miso Hungry. So I'll start with the soup. You can go, if you want to see that, the dashi and everything, it's in episode 103. But we just used wakame and scallion, I think, for that one. This one, I've got some tofu. We're going to cube up, put it in there, wakame. And I got these beautiful, now again, my pronunciation. I should look stuff up before I turn this camera on. Inaki, these little mushrooms. And I'm going to torch those before I put them in the soup. So let's head over to the board. I'll get my soup ready so I can sip it while we talk about the other stuff. See you over at the board. Come on, let's do it. Come on, let's do it. The miso soup is ready on the stove. Let's just dress this bowl. And then we'll get ready for the main course, so to speak. Let's get a few little scallions here for garnish. Now here's our tofu. I went for the extra firm. And you'll see why when we do our main dish. You can use the silky in the soup if you want, or even the firm. But I went for the extra firm. Let me get some of this water out. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to store it in water to keep it fresh. But I was in danger of flooding the entire counter there, so I poured a little out. So the first thing I'm going to do for our main dish is take a brick like so. I learned this one from a great Japanese cookbook I had years ago. I should get it again. It was that Time Life series. I think I got it for like $1. It's maybe the Rosendale Book Fair? Not Rosendale, I'm sorry. The Stone Ridge Library Fair. $1 or $2, and it got moldy here in the house when we moved in. I put a bunch of cookbooks down on the ledge to the basement. I had just moved in the house. I didn't realize the humidity. I've since taken care of that with dehumidifiers, but I lost a lot of good cookbooks. The Time Life series, the Japanese one. I got this recipe out of that, and you'll see that in a minute. The first thing I'm going to do is just put these paper towels, I'm going to slide it over here and put a little weight on top of it because we want to kind of dry it out. So we'll use that tofu for that. Now let's take a little bit, a thinner slice, and cube it up for our miso soup. This is what we were missing in episode 103. Soup was amazing, but little bits of miso are nice in there. I like it, not miso. Little bits of tofu. So let's put those in our bowl. And then I told you, I got these mushrooms, inaki. And again, like I said in the beginning of the episode, this may not be a traditional Japanese thing, but I'm torching them. Remember this torch from the cocktail episode? Nice gift from my BF. And you'll see a lot of Japanese chefs doing this to fish. The skin of a nice piece of mackerel. So that's where I'm getting that idea from. Just improvising. You know, you get that, should give it a nice little charred flavor. It smells good. Earthy. Also charring a little bit of wood counter, I smell that too. But in spring, this my old butcher block here, which has been with me since, I don't know, 1980 or 81, used to be my desk. I cut it down to fit this. That's going to get another full sanding come spring. Sanding and then food grade mineral oil. All right, mushrooms, tofu, in the soup here. I was going to pour it, but let me get a ladle because it's got the wakame in there. I want to get some of that. Fresh made dashi, just made it. And then we'll just go on top with our scallion. Wakame, scallion, tofu, and these beautiful charred mushrooms. And bonus, I did find my spoons. I had to use metal in the last episode. I'm interested in trying these mushrooms, but let me get a little tofu out of the bottom first. Oh, the dashi is beautiful tonight. Oh, great addition. Great addition. Great little improv with the torch. I'm loving it. Okay, well, this is not the episode. This is just to get me going because I was hungry. I'm going to finish this and then we'll talk about the rest of the meal. See you in a few. Okay, it's miso night. That miso soup was out of this world, and with the tofu, those mushrooms, that bowl was filling enough to get me through to the meal. So it's perfect. I picked up last night this beautiful Japanese eggplant. We're going to do miso, eggplant, and miso tofu to show you that miso is not just for soup. So the first thing I'm going to do, because we want to soak this just for 10 minutes or so, I'm going to cut this eggplant right down the middle, a long way. And then I'm just going to score it. I'm going to egg score it like so. Both directions, nice little crosses. And then I'm going to soak it in a bowl of cold water for about 10 minutes while we make our marinade in our dressing for this eggplant and for the tofu. We could make one for both, but I'm going to make two slightly different ones. Could have cut these a little shorter, but I don't want to waste any more of this good vegetable. So I'm just going to kind of push it in there. We'll move this aside and let that just soak. It's just a bowl of water. Okay, now, for the tofu, because while our eggplant is resting, we also want to marinate the tofu for just 10 minutes or so. So let's start with a little bit of soy sauce. It's about a tablespoon. Let's go with some fresh spoon for the miso. Go with a nice chunk of that. Some black pepper. And I got a nice little piece of fresh ginger here. Let's grate some of that in. I love fresh ginger. It smells incredible. Okay, let's mix this all up a little. And you know what? Can't hurt. A little bit of sake. Thin it down a little. There we go. The smell is unbelievable. Let me give this a little taste. Wow. Go a little bit more sake. And some more fresh ginger. Okay, that ought to do it flavor-wise. Let's get that tofu that we had weighted down, drying out a little, got some of the water out of it. Let's get that right in here. And we're just going to let this sit while we make our other miso dressing for the eggplant, which will be similar, but slightly different. You could use the same one on either, but we want, you know, as the Doors sang, without Jim Morrison, first album after he was gone, Other Voices. Variety is the spice of life. So let's set that aside. And now let's start our miso marinade dressing for the eggplant. All right, for the eggplant, we're going to go with, obviously, the miso. Let's see. Let me look at those. See how much I think I need here. I love these recipes because you buy a tub of miso like this, you forget it's in the fridge. You know, how much miso soup are you really going to make? Although it's awesome for breakfast. But if you do these other recipes, you really get your money's worth out of this miso while it's nice and fresh. And we'll get some fantastic dishes. Okay, so let's go in with some, I got some mir in here, which is a sweet rice wine. This dressing is going to be sweeter than the one on the tofu. So we'll get a nice contrast. So let's go in with just, I don't know, maybe a tablespoon of that. Not even. We're going with a little sake. Again, maybe a tablespoon or so. I'm not really measuring. I'm just going for it. And I'm going to go in with, again, this is a sweeter one. I got some nice organic. I get this for my coffee. You know, We all try to eliminate the sugar from our lives, and I've done a pretty good job of it, except for coffee. But I assuage my guilt for getting this nice organic cane sugar. It's just dehydrated cane. Not processed. Get this at Mother Earth's. Maybe a teaspoon of that sugar. Helps the medicine go down, right, Julie Andrews? Let's see what this tastes like. Miso, mirin, sake, with sugar. Well, I don't think it needs anything else. Again, I jump around and look at different recipes. I have that Time Life book. I saw one that had a little tahini. Probably couldn't hurt, but I'm going to leave it out. I got that at Mother Earth's too. Because after making those falafel, I love hummus. Always try to keep these things in the house for a moment's notice. Yeah, I think that's perfect. Just a drop more of the mirin. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Okay. So that's our dressing for the eggplants. Let's put that aside. And let's crank up the old toaster oven. Now we got the toaster oven on 425. Let that heat up. While that's happening, let's take our eggplants, which we soaked in the water for 10 minutes or so. And we're going to take some of this nice sesame oil, right? Pure sesame seed oil. And we're going to brush that on. The flat side, the cut side of our eggplants. And see, that's why we made our little X cuts. Let it get down in there. Stuff's potent, we don't need a lot. But we do want to get that toasty flavor in there. Okay. So, 475. It's not quite up to temp yet, but what we're going to do is we're going to put these face down and pop them in. And we'll give those a good 10-15. But in about 5 minutes, I'm going to put the tofu in with it. This is a little, it's not a big dinner, so it's just a little toaster oven dinner. So we'll see you in a few. Oh, actually, come over to the stove with me. We've got one more thing to do while those bake. Come on, let's do it.
Come on, let's do it.
While those eggplants are in the oven, let's toast up a few sesame seeds. We'll use them as a garnish. Just a handful. Miso soup back there, that's coming for lunch tomorrow. That was absolutely delicious with those charred mushrooms. We'll char some more up in the morning. And then I can bring them separate and just nuke the soup at work. So we're just going to give these a light toast. You don't want to burn them. You got the small cast iron out here. Okay, we're all good here. Got a nice light toast on them. Brings out that sesame flavor. So let's take them off the heat. I'm actually going to pull them out of the cast iron with this spoon, because the cast iron retains heat and I don't want them to burn. They got that nice light toast on them. So I'll pull those over here. Now we're just waiting on the eggplant. And these have a ways to go. We still want to bake them. The final is going to be a broil. And technically we would broil this tofu. But what I'm going to do, since we're kind of cheating with the toaster oven, is, see how I got these two spaces here? Let me take one of these, plop it here. Take one of these, pop it here, and we'll continue baking. And then we'll broil everything at the end. Oh, each miso dressing is different. It's great. This one has the ginger, and the one that we're going to put on the eggplant is the sweeter one with the mirin. Beautiful. He's been baking for a while. I think it's been at least 15 minutes. Let's have a look. Oh, it smells incredible. So let's take our eggplant first. Yep, it's nice and soft. Flip it over. Oh, sesame oil smells incredible. Let's take our tofu. Flip that. And now we're going to put this on broil here. And while that little element is getting hot and red, let's take our miso dressing for the eggplant. Spread it on top here. Oh man. This aroma is just dynamite. Okay, that's that one. Now let's take and let's put this one on the tofu that we marinated it in. Okay, back in. And now it's under the broiler, so I want to keep an eye on it. Give that a good broil. I could put it on the top one, but no, that's close enough. It's tricky with the toaster oven, you know? All right, let's let that broil away, and then we'll be ready to garnish and chow down. All right, let's pull this. Woo! Got a little well done char on the eggplant. It's okay. It smells incredible. Up here, let's pull it down. Full disclosure, I wasn't getting enough color, so I did go to the top broiler. So it got a little close. I'll just go with one eggplant and one tofu because I already put my miso soup away for tomorrow, so it looks like I'm going to get lunch and tonight's supper out of this. Now let's garnish. A little more scallion. I don't know if I'm on camera cutting this. That's okay. So a little sliced scallion. Here's our toasted sesame seeds. Let's dig in and see what we got. Miso glazed eggplant and miso marinated tofu. Oh, wait a minute. I just did that whole thing off camera? I apologize. I just garnished the whole thing off camera. Oh well. There it is. There's no way to go back and do it again. Let's start with the tofu. Oh, fantastic. This eggplant, miso glaze. It's hot. Woo. Incredible meal. Delicious, healthful, coming off my first day of swimming in 6, 7, maybe 8 years. I don't even know. A little sake. As far as that last segment went, you know, ever since the beeps, I'm shooting with the iPhone. One of the last things she did in life, I might start crying. One of the last things she did in this life was knock that camera tripod over. I love her. And now I'm shooting with the iPhone. and I'm not quite used to it yet. I got about 3 cameras online that I'm picking between. I don't want to rush it. Gonna get a new cam. iPhone looks pretty good, right? It's not bad. But I got some new cameras coming. But all that to say, I'm shooting with the iPhone, and I'm still, front camera, back camera, selfie mode, so I don't often see what I'm shooting. And I still had it on the toaster oven while I was garnishing and prepping the whole meal. But rest assured, it's absolutely fantastic. Another piece of this eggplant. I'm getting one of the well done charred segments. That's the miso dressing that was closest to the broiler. It's incredible. Miso marinated tofu. After that bowl of miso soup with the mushrooms, scallion, wakame, this slice of tofu, that half of the eggplant, I'm good, man. So I got lunch tomorrow. Perfect way to cook, perfect way to eat. Saluti with the Vincenzo wine glass sake. Yeah, I'm one of those New Year's goons, New Year's resolution. The only difference is I'm sticking with it. See you for the next episode.
Come on, let's do it.
It was a whole fiasco.